Space is a vast and expansive place, and I can land on any planet. Maybe Earth, a land of great opportunity, or perhaps Polaris, a technological sanctuary. But forget all of that, because I spawn on Sadala, the home planet of the Saiyans, and the most cruel and dangerous place in the universe. However, that doesn't stop me from going from this to this. And here's how that happened. But before I show you that, the game is called Budokai. It's a hardcore Dragon Ball game and it's currently in paid testing right now, so you guys can go play it for yourself. But if you are watching this video, it's clear you like the content on this channel, so you might as well subscribe. But that said, let me take you guys back. So there is me in all my glory, and obviously if you couldn't tell by the tail, I am a Saiyan. Now, I spawn in on the planet, and as I do in most games, I find the strongest looking person because they usually know how to play the game, and I was gonna use his knowledge, but you can see we have a stat system. You have your age, but there is a lot of work to do. Now, after a while, there was kind of like a communion of low-level Saiyans over here. Then they start flexing their Super Saiyan. You know what I say to myself? I'm like, dude, I gotta get that, you know, I gotta be overpowered. So basically what I was trying to learn right here is how I start progressing. So he leads me over to the very first quest in the game. I'm like, okay, simple enough. What do I gotta do? Now, I thought that this was just gonna be a little simple quest, you know, go deliver something like that. He says kill 3 Frieza's soldier. Okay, well this is the first quest in the game. Surely this has to be pretty easy. But then the hunt was on because we really did not know where this was, and the game doesn't give you a marker. So a bunch of flying around ensues, but eventually we did find the location, and it was basically indicated by a bunch of spaceships that had crash landed. Now there were some of Frieza's soldiers over here, so of course we had to take them out. So we find my first opponent, and it is this red guy. Now he's kind of piecing me up because I did not know the keybinds or the combat system, so I cry out for the dear Lord to save me. Then eventually he takes the aggro, but then when I'm ready to fight him again, now I know the keybinds, and it's typical Dragon Ball game stuff. Of course you have your lock on, of course you have your Z vanish to like teleport behind your opponent and to get out of combos and to extend your combos. It's typical stuff, so it's pretty easy with these ones. But unfortunately, what happened next here is I saw another fellow Saiyan fighting another one of the soldiers, so I decided to help him out. Now, what can only be described as a lapse in judgment had happened right here. I did not look at my health, and then boom, he blasts my head clean off. Let's see that again in slow motion. Look, he comes in, boom, my head is off my goddamn shoulders. I am resting in piss. So immediately after being killed, I was sent to Purgatory, where I met the big man himself, and this was unfortunate because if you've watched Dragon Ball, you know what is going to happen next. So basically I had to walk the gigantic snake way, and when I say this thing is big, like it is long, like it is super long. Pause on that, no homo. But seriously, this was a lot of running, and midway I almost just alt F4. I almost just said, you know what, this is not worth it. But eventually I did get to the end, and then, you know, I saw King Kai's planet. So basically what I had to do was fly up to it and click it. Now I didn't really know what was going to happen, but I knew that it would be a lot better than having to run across that snake way again. So I clicked it, and we're off to the races. So I got on his planet. Now I didn't really know what I was supposed to do here, but I did notice that there was a timer in my screen, so I was literally serving jail time for dying in this game. Now you'll also notice that you have these weird lines around you when you're in here, and that's because of the gravity. So you can actually train in this place and it will give you good XP. So what I did next was this thing called shadow boxing, and it gave tons of battle power right here because the gravity of this planet is a lot more than it would be on any other planet. that's like in the living world. So this was actually a good place to train, and your XP does transfer to your new life. So once I got out, I decided to go defeat the rest of the soldiers that I needed to complete this quest. Now this one was pretty easy, just smacked him up a few times and he was able to die pretty fast. After that, it said that I needed to return to the mission giver. So what happens next is, without a guide, I have no idea where I was going in this gigantic planet. So I was kind of just wandering the lands aimlessly. I went to a village that looked similar, completely wrong place, had to do a U-turn, went to another place, was not it either. I kept searching, and then eventually I saw the village, and then after that I went over to the quest giver to hand it in. Now these are actually very good because there's other ways to just straight up level in the game, but these mission boards or from NPCs are probably the best overall, because what they're gonna give you is money as well as EXP and BP. So what that meant is I had enough money to buy this thing called a power core. So I bought this power core, right? Basically what you can use this for is to get a ship, and that is how you're going to be able to get off your home planet and go travel the universe. So we find Bulma, and there's like a wrecked ship there, and you also need 10k zenny, so I got that from someone. And then you're able to repair your ship or make one basically, and you have to use the power core, and then you can use this remote to spawn it. You get in, and then basically there's different coordinates for each planet, and then to enter them you'll see this little UI pop up. And so I was given the coordinates by someone that they share it in the game's Discord, and then you're able to essentially go to wherever you want, and then it's a quick journey in space, and I was going to Earth this time around. So I make it to Earth, and it was a lovely planet with lovely people, except for the racist NPC. What the hell is that text? Yeah, I had to spin his block, so I start beating them up. You know, it's an all-out brawl. Now, I did not expect this random ass jean-wearing racist NPC to have flight and do so much damage with M1s, but you know, I guess Earth is just built different, and I thought the goddamn SAIYAN planet was bad. But anyway, you know, this was good, free battle power at least, so you know, I wanted to get some XP anyway, so I wasn't too mad that I had to fight this guy. Now you see he says, "What are you?" because he's so scared of my incredible immaculate power. But regardless, he's just a human, not even a soldier NPC, so it doesn't take long for him to die. Now I decided to get off Earth just for a bit because there was more important things to do, and you'll see why. You're probably wondering, I just got there, why am I leaving? Well, that's because I was going to this planet called Polaris. Now this was an important stop. Now first I met this person here, and I asked them, where is that place that everyone is talking about? And then so he takes me to it, and this is an important place, and you'll see why in just a second here, because this is like the main shop. This is like where you can get like a bunch of stuff. So right now they got the armor, that all I could really afford was the armor, and you got lots of varieties, so I had to get myself that blue drip, but I did have just enough to get a scouter, and scouters are really important to see your battle power and other people's battle power. It's like a free ESP actually, so yeah, getting a scouter is actually very important in the game as well. So once I'd acquired that, one of them told me that at Earth I could learn a few skills from Master Roshi, so now that I was suited up, that's where I was going to go. So I make it back to Earth, and this is as good as time as any to show you guys the utility of this scouter. Now it's really good because you can see anyone's power level from anywhere on the map, including NPCs. Now I headed over to the Kami house because this is where you get your skills in the game, okay? This is where you start getting overpowered. There's multiple mentors in the game, but I was going to start with Master Roshi. So I start talking to him and he says that I need more Zenny. Okay, fair enough. So I go do a mission from some random guy, and then after I complete it, I have almost exactly enough Zenny. So I tried to talk to him again, but I actually wasn't able to because he said I wasn't strong enough. So I do some more shadow boxing, and by the way, that's the effect for when you clash with someone, so it's pretty cool. You like, you know, teleport around, like punch a bunch of times. But anyway, the next thing I did was go to Namek because I still wasn't strong enough. After talking to him again, I knew that there would be some different quests on here. So I go over to the mission board and then I click it and I see what I get. So it's a random mission when you click the mission board. And I just explored around before I went off, but you guys know the deal by now. I find the NPCs, start beating them up. I'm kind of a master at this by now. These ones really did not stand a chance. But before I left, I made sure to come back to that house that I went in earlier because I saw this really cool cape and I was actually able to interact with this. I was like, oh, this must be something I can buy. So I decided to buy it for the 15k Zenny, well worth the investment. Put it on, it looks super cool. And also my favorite thing about it is when you take it off like a One Piece character, boom, throw it down, makes an explosion. Yeah, it's nice. So I come back to Master Roshi and I'm finally able to actually talk to him. He does not say, oh, you don't have enough, blah blah blah. He said, keep up the good fight, which basically means he's giving me this item called the Hermit Focus, and then what you're able to do with that is you can train it. Now before I trained it, I decided to go to the Hyperbolic time chamber because this is the best place to train in the entire game. So I talked to Mr. Popo, and then you guys already know what happens. Training arc begins. So I get into the Hyperbolic time chamber, I put on my trusty cape, and you can probably already tell what the training system is just from that quick flash of the UI. But if you don't, basically you just need to press the keys that shows up before the time runs out, and it progressively gets harder with each round that you complete. And then the last one's gonna be like really hard, but if you complete that one, that's when you actually get the EXP. And now with the Hermit Focus, I had to do this just a few times, and each time I completed it, it said that you train in the hopes of learning something new. So, you know, that's basically like just telling you that your training was successful. And then after that, after doing it a certain number of times, you're going to unlock the very first ability for your mentor. And what this one was, of course, can't be anything else than Kamehameha. So yeah, that's what I got, and it was pretty quick because again, Hyperbolic time chamber, boom, great AoE, good range, and it did not take too much keys, so I really like this move. And a lot of people in this game don't even have any moves at all, so yeah, that would definitely, you know, set me above the crowd. So I did a little shadow boxing as well because that is going to give you good XP and battle power in the Hyperbolic time chamber. And you know, of course, after training, remember when I said I was a Super Saiyan? Well, actually I meant I was a legendary Super Saiyan, which is kinda rare if you didn't know that. And you say, I will bathe in your blood every time you activate it, so it's kinda cool. And then after that, I go back to my home planet, and I wanted to test my abilities, and I'll see how I stack up with other people. And so I met these three really cool people, you know, that they were just chilling over here, and I checked their BP. It wasn't anything too crazy. Now keep in mind, I actually do have no clue what mine was at that point, so you know, theirs didn't look too crazy. I was just gonna go fight them. I immediately, boom, throw off my cape, activate that legendary Super Saiyan, which literally like triples my health as soon as I put it on. Makes me do so much damage, and it heals me. So yeah, that is definitely very busted. And you know, the Namekian did good to dodge my first move right there, but you know, a true Saiyan only needs his fist, he only needs his hand. So you know, I just start M1ing him. And the other thing I really like about the combat in this game is that it's like really fast paced. Like you're never like, you know, standing still and charging like in some other Dragon Ball games, which I think really kills the immersion. Anyway, put up a good fight, but he was left dead. Now someone else wanted to fight me, you know, had another contender, and it was I actually have no idea how you pronounce this race, but I'm not even gonna try that. But you know, it's the freezer race, and we start boxing, we start going at it, you know, M1 M1 M1. Now I actually thought that the reason I won that was just because that mode was so overpowered. So I actually did not even use a mode on this guy. I just started like, you know, boxing him, seeing how the combat is. And of course, you'll probably notice by now that when I play, I like to lure them in by blocking first so I can get a free hit after theirs doesn't connect with mine. You know, people are usually just spamming M1s in this game, so it is actually pretty easy to outsmart them like that. And then you could just flash behind them, continue your combo and combo extend with them. So I literally finish most of these fights with almost all of my HP intact. And as the rest of the fight plays out, you'll probably notice that this game is heavily inspired by Xeno Online, if you haven't noticed that already. And of course that game shut down or is effectively never going to be updated ever again. And I think that the dev has big passion for this, so if you like Dragon Ball games or hardcore games, you'll probably like this one. But do bear in mind that it is very early in development, there will be bugs, but I think it does have a lot of potential because everything here was made in less than 2 months. So you know, definitely big props to the dev for that. Anyway guys, remember to subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you guys in the next one.
I can persevere, go forward on my own. There's a bright and shining pure light coming through the darkness of